How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. All right, so how we go about this is if you have a question, please leave in the chat and I will try and address each and every question that you have asked. And if it is your question, I will request you to please switch on your camera so that we can talk face to face and have a nice conversation. Right, thank you so much. So please start typing in your questions and we'll get to it. How to start learning mixing and mastering. All right, so mixing and mastering is basically first understand what it is. Okay, it is basically balancing the recording. Without a mix and master, it is simply a collection of signals. Okay, it is recording signals upon recorded signals upon recorded signals which have been recorded very well, but without a proper mix down, without a good balance, without it getting a good stereo stage, it is not going to be able to deliver its emotion or its story or its vision as effectively. So there are two, three ways to look at a mix and master. Some people like to look at it as creating a stereo stage for you. It can also be described as something like an audio canvas, and it can also be described as something that is a medium through which you are making your message more impactful, more powerful, right? So let's talk about a stereo stage. A stereo stage is simply as if when you're sitting in front of your speakers, it must sound like that the band is right in front of you, and that was true up till not very long ago. If you listen to bands like The Doors, Ray Charles, and if you close your eyes, if you wear headphones, if you have good set of speakers placed in front of you very equidistantly, you will see that you will hear that instruments are panned as if they were on stage and you were standing right in front of the stage in the center. So the piano will be on the left, right? The singer will be in the center, the drum kit will be on the right, the bass player a little less to the right, and the guitar player also to the left. So this is how your Ray Charles stage was set up, okay? And this is also how the Doors stage was set up. So that's how they would mix their songs to make it look like as if you were there actually listening to the band live. The other thing is trying to make a balance, which is not exactly, mimicking a stage. I'll request everyone to please mute their mic. Thank you. Which, thank you. It can also be something that is completely unique to, or can be very experimental. For example, music these days is mixed very, very experimentally. So you can do that as well. If you want to start learning to mix and master, you have to first learn audio engineering, basics of audio engineering. You have to first learn how to record and basic studio studies, because without studio engineering, it's going to be very difficult to start learning how to mix and master. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Mervin. A very good evening and namaste to everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Can you suggest some good places to take up audio engineering? KM in Chennai is great. I've heard this FrontRow is great. These days, since you can't go to an actual physical institute, FrontRow is a great place to start learning. And otherwise, you can definitely go to Bombay. There are some great institutes in Bombay, like TAG. It's a new institute. In Delhi, we have Beat Factory. These are good places. How to start learning FL Studio and where to start and what? FL Studio, there are not a lot of courses for FL Studio because FL Studio is not exactly a professional DAW. So you are going to have a slightly difficult time finding courses for FL Studio, or at least ones that give you a certification. And if you are very serious about your music, I'm not being biased, I'm just trying to look out for you. Try and switch from FL Studio to something more professional as soon as possible. You can argue with me that a lot of great artists, EDM artists, have actually made their careers in FL Studio. Yes, that is there, but they were not dependent on anybody else but their own music. And your story may be different or maybe the same. If you think you have, I mean, what it takes to be an artist, and if you're very confident and you are willing to put in everything, and you don't really care about whether you want a job in a studio or whether you want to work for other people, then by all means stick to FL Studio. But if you are looking to, get a job in a studio or become a freelancing music producer, you will have to switch to something that almost the rest of the world is using. And Ableton Live is actually one of the most advanced DAWs out there. So definitely go with that. If you want to learn Ableton Live, you can come to FrontRow. They are teaching Ableton Live. In fact, I am one of the instructors, so you can learn from me. IIT. Okay. Nowadays there are a lot of audio created in 5D, 80. That's a scam, man. Don't fall for that. 5D and 8D is scam. However, surround sound is not. That's a completely different thing. Okay, surround sound or Dolby mixes is something very, very new and something very different, and you can't just do it at home. All these 8D audios that I see on YouTube, they've just put a binaural effect on it, and that's how they're doing it. So that's a scam. I just want to know that is there any way to learn DAW? Yes, from FrontRow, right here on this platform. I am one of the teachers. Search Dev NXT level. Okay, he made a whole series. All right, yeah, go ahead. But as I said, I mean, FL Studio is great if you're making music only for yourself and only for yourself. Sir, आपकी आवाज़ में lows बहुत आ रहे हैं. All right, guys, let me just quickly try and fix this one more time. And here we are. One second, guys. Let me just anyways, I'll keep answering questions in the meantime. Don't worry. So how many instruments do we need to design a whole music orchestra? 188. Or that's the max number, but yeah, at least 120 will be required. Ableton purchase करते टाइम क्या चीज़ ध्यान रखनी चाहिए? I mean, price same नहीं है, different price. Yeah, at least get the standard one, if not the suite. Suite के साथ आपको बहुत सारे packs मिलेंगे, sounds मिलेंगी. But then the thing is, you can actually get these packs and sounds from, say, producer loops or ultimate loops or anything else. Suite is not all that necessary, but definitely standard is. जो बीच वाला है, I think so 35,000. I've talked with you on Insta regarding audio engineering, Mr. Musicographer. Hi, Manish. Glad to see you here, man. Which is a better choice of DAW for production? I always go with Ableton Live because it is cross-platform. वो दोनों Windows और Mac पे चलता है. So even if you change your PC in the future or change from a Mac to a PC or from a PC to a Mac, at least आपका workflow नहीं टूटता. And a majority of producers out there today are actually working on Ableton Live. So it only makes sense to be on a software that almost everyone is using. Collaboration becomes easier. Getting somebody else's services becomes easier, so on and so forth. What should I do to start taking session of DAW? You need to contact FrontRow. In fact, Ishan, right over here, who's in the Zoom call right now, will help you with that. So Ishan, there's a person called Abhishek, please help him out. If I want to produce and mix my own music, do I have to compose? No, you don't. You can learn it yourself. It's just going to take you a lot longer, because this is a complex field. There's so much that you need to be guided on. You can't just hope to get it up and running within a few months or even 1 or 2 years. I have been at it for about 15 years and I am very well educated in this field and I'm still learning. So learning definitely does help. If I'm new to Cubase 11 Pro, should I use dedicated hardware DAW controller for transport and other controls or learn standard keyboard commands? Listen, these controllers are just there to make your life slightly easier. They are not going to make your mixes better. Take that for granted, alright? but they're there to make things slightly easier. Now, DAW controllers were actually preferred by people who are very used to actual mixers, because they were so used to pushing faders that they're like, man, working with the mouse is not intuitive at all for me. So for them, it really makes sense. But if you never actually worked on a real mixer, investing in a DAW controller right off the bat is actually not that important. In fact, I would tell you to please first invest in acoustics. That's one of the most important things, and that's the thing that people invest in last. And that's how they suffer. That's how they're not learning, because you are not sitting in a good sounding room. So even if you have expensive speakers, expensive mics, and a great system, because you're sitting in a dirty room, you're not going to improve. So first and foremost, get your acoustics done. Tanmay Rao, you can also watch the assignments. Okay. Which mic is good for recording for home studio? This one. This is called the SM7B. The Shure SM7B.
मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि which mic is better for recording in home or for in a room for beginners?
In a room?
In your room or in your house.
This is it. Talking about this one. This is a good mic. If out of your budget, you can go for the 58 beta. Then again, if you don't have acoustics, then I'm suggesting these mics. If you have acoustics in place, then I will highly suggest.
That my room is not soundproof. That is only a room.
Then get this or get any dynamic mic. For example, Shure SM58 beta, not SM, sorry, Shure 58 beta or the Shure SM7B.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, guys, I think I've got my mic running. Give me a second. I'll just quickly give it a test run. And here we are. Can you guys hear me effectively? Is my voice better?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Sorry about the delay in this. All right, guys. Which mic is good for recording for home studio? Answer that. Do Ableton has better instrument sense than FL Studio? See, man, let me just answer this in depth right now, so all the FL people know exactly, why I prefer Ableton. First of all, FL Studio is great for starting, and I understand that you look at that sequencer and the first thing you do is press a few buttons and you can make a beat. That's great. It motivates you. It's pretty looking. And keep in mind, because it is pretty looking, because it is so graphically intensive, it is going to demand your CPU to not just sound good, but even look good. So why do you want to use a software which is used for making music to be taking your precious CPU resources in looking good? That's my biggest drive for it, because it is so graphically intensive. The GUI is so heavy and so detailed that it's using so much of your CPU power and so much of your GPU power just to look pretty. At the end of the day, the person who's listening to your music will not care where you made it. So if you have the CPU power, go ahead. If you don't have the CPU power, you will realize that Ableton actually performs much better. And as far as instruments and synths are concerned, there is no this is better or that is better. Is really what you are used to and what you know well. And if you are working on something, say Citrus or Citrus, whatever it's called in FL Studio, you are used to that, then you'll notice that something like Wavetable in Ableton Live is as good, or you can always translate and get another synth like Massive. So there are always options there. The reason why I ask you to be on Ableton is because it's effective. Okay, it does not juice your CPU. It does not require too much CPU power like FL Studio does. And the most importantly, it comes both in Windows and Apple. I know FL Studio also works both on Windows and Apple, but Ableton Live is more widely used. Thirdly, there is a workflow in the industry. Okay, say today I am on Ableton Live and I am hired to go into another studio and work on Pro Tools. It will not take me very long to understand what's happening. Or if I'm working on Cubase and if I'm asked to sit on a session that is in Logic or in Ableton Live or vice versa, because all these DAWs follow more or less the same workflow, the industry standard workflow, it's not going to be very difficult for me. I'm not going to be at a loss. However, FL Studio is the most unique workflow ever, which can be an advantage, but when it is a disadvantage, it is really a very, very big disadvantage. सो इफ यू स्टार्ट ऑन FL Studio, अगर आज आप FL Studio पे सारा टाइम अपना 3-4 साल लगा देते हैं उसको सीखने में, आप सिर्फ FL Studio पे ही अटके रह जाएंगे. आप कभी भी किसी और DAW पे नहीं काम कर पाएंगे. बट से फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू स्पेंड 3-4 years perfecting yourself in Ableton Live और in Logic even. Ableton या Logic से शिफ्ट करने में, से Cubase या Pro Tools पे, या Ableton से Logic पे, या Logic से Ableton पे, आपको फिर से 2-3 साल लगाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. आप लिटरली एक गाने के अंदर शिफ्ट कर पाएंगे. सिर्फ एक गाना लगेगा आपको ये समझने में कि ओके इस बटन यहाँ पे, ये बटन यहाँ पे, ये बटन यहाँ पे है, बिकॉज द वर्क फ्लो इज द सेम. So FL Studio is great to start with. It's a great motivator when you're young and you're just making simple beats. But to stick on it will mean that you are going to be working isolated for the rest of your career, unless you are willing to spend another 2-3 years perfecting another DAW, another workflow, right? So Ableton Live in that regard is, yes, better than FL Studio. Because it has more advantages and more, it shakes hand better than other DAWs than FL Studio does. Sound engineering, master production, yes, it is, absolutely. See, again, just like anything else, you can learn on your own, but it's going to take an immense amount of time and effort. Immense. So if you are busy or if you have a day job, then I will suggest do a course. Secondly, you need to have ear training, not musical ear training, but engineering ear training, which will come with the course. So if you're not training your ears to listen to exactly what you need to do in a mix, if you're not having a mentor guiding you exactly what you need to do, is going to be very, very difficult. I have tried to engineer myself without education, and I have tried to engineer myself with education, and I can tell you it's definitely worth it. Education is worth it. Where you do it from is really dependent on your budget. And coming to the right question, was Berklee School of Music worth it? Considering it for my 16-year-old daughter, yes, sir, it is. It is definitely worth it. But then, as I said, in music or in these kind of fields, in these kind of industries, because our education, especially from schools like Berklee, Juilliard, Full Sail, Musicians Institute, so on and so forth, they are so expensive that they have to be considered as investments, as business investments, right? So first things first, if you are going to take a loan and plunge yourself in debt, then I will never suggest going to an expensive school like that. It just does not make sense. But if you have the finances already at hand, and if you can afford a school, and if you can afford the stay and the hostel fees and everything, then yes, it definitely is worth it. It definitely is. How much does it cost to acoustically treat a room? It really depends on the size of the room, but it is not expensive. It is a myth. ये मैंने बहुत लोगों से सुना है, और Ableton looks scary. That's exactly why I'm here. I'm going to teach you how to not get scared by Ableton. I'm sorry, I'll get to your question. How not to be scared by Ableton. How to not be intimidated by Ableton, but to have complete control over Ableton. I know Ableton looks scary. It looks scary because it means business. It wants you to get right into making music. It doesn't want to look pretty. It doesn't want to be all pink and purple and, have beautiful graphics. It's going to give you information to the point and help you make music effectively. It is German after all, so it is effective. How much does it cost to acoustically treat a room? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people have this myth. बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि यार soundproofing तो बहुत महंगी है. सबसे पहले soundproofing और acoustic treatment दो अलग चीजें होती हैं. Alright? Soundproofing महंगी होती है. But to make music at home, आपको soundproofing की जरूरत कभी नहीं पड़ती है. आपको acoustic treatment की जरूरत पड़ती है. और अगर आप घर पे रिकॉर्ड भी करना चाहते हैं, तो आपका घर है, आप रात को रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हो, या किसी ऐसे टाइम पे रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हो जब ज्यादा शोर नहीं है बाहर, राइट? सो एंड ऑल्सो अकूस्टिक ट्रीटमेंट मोर और लेस थोड़ा बहुत साउंड प्रूफ कर भी देता है, राइट? Acoustic treatment is not very expensive. Say, for example, you have a 12-foot by 12-foot room or something like that. I think it will cost you not more than 35,000, including labor costs. You literally have to make frames of wood, लक्कड़ के frames बनाने हैं, उसके अंदर रॉक वूल बिठानी है, कपड़े से कवर करना है और उसको सही जगह पे लगाना है. अब कौन सी जगह सही है उसके लिए there are millions of, not millions, I'm sorry, thousands of videos on YouTube. Millions भी हो सकते हैं for all you know, but yeah, there are thousands of videos on YouTube which will tell you how to put what panel where and everything, and rock wool की कौन सी density कहाँ होनी चाहिए, कौन सी density कहाँ होनी चाहिए. So acoustics are not expensive at all, and you also need to make diffusers. Diffusers अगर बनाने लगोगे तो महंगे हैं, but let me tell you a very cheap way. Just go to Pepperfry, Urban Ladder, whatever it is, whatever furniture company, wherever you buy things from, buy yourself some cheap bookshelves and go to your, जैसे दिल्ली में दरियागंज है, you can buy books by the weight. आप literally किलो के हिसाब से किताबें खरीद सकते हो. किताबें किलो के हिसाब से खरीद के आप अपने कमरे में उसको बुक शेल्फ को लगा दो. I'll show you in my room, right over there behind, you see. So those books make an excellent diffuser. So put that right behind you. I was able to join now. Well, welcome. Better late than never. Is it possible to make industry standard music in FL Studio? It is. It is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible. But FL Studio has its disadvantages, as I explained. Ableton is so expensive. I think FL Studio is as expensive as Ableton. Am I right? That's also 30, 35 grand. Can I learn everything about the basics I need to make a song from audio engineering when I have no knowledge about production beforehand? It helps if you're a little bit of a musician, not like a proper full-blown musician. At least grade 1 तक या थोड़ा बहुत अगर आप किसी गाने को सुन के पियानो पे उसकी ट्यून निकाल सकते हैं, it helps. But yes, you can start with just that basic knowledge. Most welcome, Sunny. Is Nuendo 5 fine? Nuendo is designed for film sound, not music. How can we make own .adg file? I want to share, I want to make Shehnai instrument. .adg file, let me refresh my memory. 1 second, .adg is, give me a second. .adg file. I know this is a preset or something in Ableton Live. Okay, it's a device group. All right. So all you have to do is, let me just share my screen and I'll show you guys. All right, say for example, these are your two instruments. You make a group, and what you have to do is you see this little floppy disk here. You just have to come and save it, and let's just save it as Talk Basic, because this is my Talk Mic Basic, and that's it. Show an Explorer, and there you go. This is your ADG file right over here. Hope that helps. If I want to be a singer, then what will be the first step? Guys, please mute your mics. We want to make sure everyone can hear me. Thank you so much. Your first step is to take singing classes. Tell the teacher that this is your first time singing, that this is your first class. They will start you with breathing exercises. पहला महीना आप सिर्फ breathing exercise करेंगे, because singing is about controlling your breath more than anything else. It's not about catching the note. अगर आपको टीचर सीधा सारे गामा या डोरे मी फा से शुरू करा रहा है बिना ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज के, तो शायद टीचर बदल देना चाहिए. How to join my classes? Tej, get in touch with Ishan FrontRow, or just FrontRow. There's a person in this meeting called FrontRow. Just send him a private message. He will give you a number on which you have to send a WhatsApp. Dell Inspiron with Windows 7, 6 GB RAM, 2.5 gigahertz be sufficient for your Ableton class? It should be for at least a class. Will free trial of Ableton download do? Yes, free trial of Ableton download will do. I missed 3 classes. Will I be able to catch up with the recordings? Yes, you will be. Your first 3 classes, yeah, you'll be able to. Don't worry about it. So wait, will you be joining an ongoing course? Do let me know. Or are you looking to join a future course? A future batch, sorry. What are things we require getting started with Ableton Live? Nothing. A decent PC and a sound card and a headphone. That's it. Or if you are doing simple music, then just a simple PC laptop or something like that, and a MIDI keyboard. That's about it. And it's these things are not very expensive these days. This is literally like a 10K, 10K, 5K, 2.5K bracket. 10K में आपका साउंड कार्ड आ जाएगा, 10K में आपका मिडी कंट्रोलर आ जाएगा, ठीक है. 5K में आपकी केबल्स आ जाएंगी, 2.5 में आपका हेडफोन आ जाएगा, और 5K में भी आपका हेडफोन आ जाएगा. So basically, how many chunks of 10 are you willing to spend? How many chunks of 5 and how many chunks of 2.5? It's really that. Best case scenario 30,000, worst case scenario 20, 25, or even 15. What kind of PC configuration do you suggest? Okay, let's talk about basic. All right, An i5 will do, but it needs to be at least 2.8 gigahertz, and quad core will definitely help. 8 GB RAM at least, but in the future you will need 16 GB RAM. So make sure that your RAM is upgradable, that it's not molded onto your motherboard like Apple MacBooks. So that, and SSD is a must. That's it. Just three things: 2.8 gigahertz quad core, 16 GB RAM, and SSD. Can we suppress noise background? No, we cannot. Not just in Ableton, not even in Fruity Loops, nothing. Now, you may come across plugins like RX8, which work in almost everything, or some DAWs may have built-in noise reduction plugins. They will reduce the noise, but they will also destroy a bit of your signal. That means they will skinny down your voice, or they will thin down your voice, or they will remove brightness from your voice and make it dull while they're at it. So there is no clean way of removing noise. Machine Micro supports Massive X. I already have Arturia Analog Lab with multiple synths. Will Machine Micro hardware help me come up with creative ideas for production? Yes, it will. It will. Machine is one of the best beat pads out there, short of Akai MPC. I mean, if you can't afford an Akai MPC, I will always suggest you buy a Machine. And the Machine Micro is also really good. The only difference between a Machine and Machine Micro is the number of controls. Otherwise, the beat pads are exactly the same. They're the same quality. And you should know that all these beat pads are Akai. Akai owns or has designed beat pads. Which keyboard am I using? I am using a Code 61. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not very happy with it. I'm looking to get the Novation 61. I'll tell you the exact model. Give me a second. Novation.
Hello, sir. Good evening,
This
sir.
is Ash. Good evening. Please.
जया जोशी सर.
Hi,
yes, sir.
Jaya.
Good evening. हेलो सर.
Hi, Jaya.
सर यही क्वेश्चन था कि कीबोर्ड मुझे भी परचेज करना था, तो सर ने पहले बताया था, मैंने कीबोर्ड की क्लास ज्वाइन की थी, तो उन्होंने 4 चीजें बताई थी जो एक कीबोर्ड में होनी चाहिए. तो जो 61 कीज का बताया था, स्टेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, पैडल बताया था सर ने, तो वो चारों चीजें कौन से कीबोर्ड में होंगी, ये चीज मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रही है, तो इसलिए आपसे थोड़ा आइडिया लेना था.
Yes. So the Novation 61 is a great option. उसके अंदर पेडल तो हमेशा अलग से लेना
Yes,
पड़ता
sir.
है आपको. You can get the Havana का sustain pedal,
Okay.
or you can even get audio का sustain pedal, and उसके अंदर आपको beat pads भी मिलेंगे, आपको knobs भी मिलेंगी, आपको faders भी मिलेंगे. So yes, that is a good option. Another option I can give you is Nectar, Nektar. That is another good option.
Sir, first one was
Novation Novation Launch Key 61.
okay.
And Nectar में there are Impact. Yes, that's the name. Impact series में 61, 49, 88 जो भी आपके budget में आता है, you can go for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Okay, so I'm using the M Audio Code 61 for my home studio. I actually bought this in the lockdown because it was the keyboard that came the fastest to me, and I had some projects that I needed to finish from home. But I am gonna change this very soon to, as I said, Novation Launch Key 61. FrontRow पे audio engineering सिखा सकते हो sir? Yes, basic audio engineering I can, but you'll need to be in a studio, man. Audio engineering is something which is very hands-on and practical. तो बिना स्टूडियो के थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो सकता है, बट या बेसिक्स तो कम से कम आप सीख ही सकते हैं. I will, if I start an audio engineering course, I'm pretty sure they're gonna contact everyone in this group. For a home studio, can we use FL Studio without sound card mixer? You can't use any DAW without a sound card and not get latency. आप बिना साउंड कार्ड के काम करेंगे तो 5वीं ट्रैक के अंदर आपका CPU बहुत स्लो हो जाएगा. तो try and get a sound card, and I mean, yeah, as I said, try and move away from FL Studio, because if you're working on FL Studio, chances are you'll be working on it alone for the rest of your career. What if I don't use diffusers? Will it affect the... Yes, it will. So just using absorbers and not diffusers will make the sound very dead and dull. Okay, and that deadness and dullness can also cause a collection of unwanted frequencies. So it is a good idea to have a diffuser. A diffuser will always dissipate sound in a pleasant way. Do I need to learn production, mixing, and sound engineering separately? See, most Most courses these days actually touch upon a bit of everything. For example, the course that I'm teaching is music production, but उसके अंदर 3 मॉड्यूल मिक्सिंग के भी हैं और 2 मॉड्यूल engineering के भी हैं, right? Or you can say, 3 big classes are mixing and 2 big classes are engineering. So yeah, you can definitely take a production course that touches a bit of everything. But if you are looking to take this as a profession, and if you are looking to open a studio, or if you're looking to get a job, then yes, at least sound engineering is compulsory. So mixing and sound engineering is more or less the same thing. You don't have to take separate classes for that. You can learn advanced mixing, which is like a postgraduate program or an after graduation or after diploma, say from an online school like Berkeley Online, or from FrontRow, if there is a dedicated advanced mixing course here. What are the minimum requirements of a PC? I have mentioned that. Which sound card do you suggest? Right now, the Audient Evo 4 is really doing good stuff. A lot of my friends have bought it, and every last one of them is extremely happy. It's in budget. It's somewhere around 11,000. And, it's Audient. Audient is a world-renowned brand. There is another sound card, if you're willing to spend a little bit more. It's called the SSL2 Plus. This has the legendary SSL preamps. So if you want the SSL sound, which is on almost every major song that you've heard, you can go in for that. SSL2 comes for about 20,000. SSL2 Plus is about 30,000. What are some good headphones under 7 to 8K? Sennheiser HD 598. I think this is for 8 or 9,000. You can check that out. These are open back, and Sennheiser HD 280 Pro, which are closed back, are great monitoring headphones. That means if you're a singer or if you're a musician and if you want to monitor yourself, Sennheiser HD 280 Pro. Yeah, these are quite flat response. They're not very colored, but true flat is very difficult to achieve, and true flat will be extremely expensive. 7, 8, 18 maybe nahi aayega. Do you think AI can enhance poor audio quality? No. I've tried it for my own sake. You have these online AI mastering things. Nahi hota yaar. It doesn't have that human touch. It does not understand where the musician wanted to show emotion and where the musician did not. It just sees sound as sound, and it just tackles it very, very technically and in a very cold, emotionless way. So no. After all, you're making music, right? You're gonna have to do it yourself. I have the i7 10th gen, that's great, and 16 GB RAM, 1 TB SSD. But when I load contact library, the CPU takes 90%. All right, let me tell you guys an amazing trick. Check this out. Let me just share my screen. If you have a good PC and if you're still struggling with your Ableton Live slowing down, then please look at this. So we go to start, we go to control panel. Okay, we go to power options and make sure that you are on high performance. High performance is very, very necessary. Okay, mostly kya hota hai, you are on balanced. When Windows is installed or when you get your PC from the shop, wo automatically balanced pe hoga. If you don't have a high performance option over here, then you can come here and create a power plan and make it high performance and name it whatever you have to, but make sure it is on high performance. Okay. All right, guys, can we not have people drawing on my screen? Thank you so much. Best monitors under 30K, KRK Rocket 5. आज का टॉपिक क्या है? आज का टॉपिक म्यूजिक प्रोडक्शन है और ऑडियो इंजीनियरिंग. Everything under the sun regarding these. All right. I have a Yamaha PSR1 425. Will it be a good option for recording through it? I have never used this. Give me a second. I'll just quickly Google this. Yamaha PSR. I'm guessing this is a digital piano. I-425. It's a silver thing. Actually, yeah, why not? I mean, it definitely is a good thing to record with. In fact, I'm pretty sure this piece of equipment also has MIDI ins and MIDI outs. So why would you want to record audio from here? Yeah, there you go. Let me see if it has a USB as well. So yeah, go ahead, connect it via USB and use it as a MIDI controller. MIDI. Okay. Why? Now you have like a world of sound at your disposal. Sennheiser HD280 Pro versus 80H and okay, Audio Technica M20, M30. I prefer the HD280 Pro. I know some singers who prefer the M20 series or the M CDs. It really depends on your taste, but I have had more singers and more musicians prefer the 280 Pro than the M series. आज का टॉपिक म्यूजिक प्रोडक्शन है, आप कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. Which of these headphones are better according to you? I just mentioned, sorry. Please tell me, Arman, what did you ask me? आज का टॉपिक क्या है? बता दिया मैंने आपको. How can we get recording of this session? The recording of this session will be uploaded by FrontRow somewhere. They will let you know.
It will be uploaded on YouTube, guys, so you can watch it there.
There you go. Is science background mandatory for? Yeah, it is. Most sound engineering courses will at least ask for maths, if not physics. I was asked for maths and physics, not chemistry though. So because ICSE allows you to take physics and maths without chemistry, there's an option there. But yeah, I was asked for physics and maths.
So, sir, what should I do if I don't have any science background? In that case, should I not opt for sound engineering?
No. There are some colleges that will allow you to do sound engineering without science background. But अगर आपको UGC approved डिग्री डिप्लोमा चाहिए तो फिर जरूरी है.
नहीं सर, सिर्फ मेरा खुद का प्रोडक्शन के लिए अगर चाहिए, मतलब
हाँ तो आप कर सकते हो. You can do from a private school then. Yeah.
Okay. And sir, last question, MMI Mumbai Music Institute and Beat Factory Academy, ये सब कैसे है? मतलब how do they teach? How far they are good?
देखिए, Beat Factory is good for electronic music production. KM Institute is right now the best engineering school in the country. It's a school that is owned by Mr. A.R. Rahman and it's in Chennai. The TAG, which is the audio guys, is another great sound engineering college in Bombay. It's run by a very, very good engineer called Omkar Tamahan and his partners. So you can definitely try and look into that. These are engineering schools, and as I said, Beat Factory is a music production school. Beat Factory में आपको engineering का इतना नहीं सिखाएंगे जितना production का सिखाएंगे, and KM and TAG में production का इतना नहीं सिखाएंगे जितना आपको engineering का सिखाएंगे. Even in Gurgaon, there is a music production school called ILM. It's called I Love Music Academy, which is great, but I think due to COVID, all these schools are not operating at the.
And it's an MMI, Mumbai Music Institute.
I honestly don't know. I haven't really met anyone from there, or I haven't not seen that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking how to edit. I always think how to edit mix instruments. Synth. What is the base? How to edit mix instruments. Synth. What is the basic? I'm guessing you are wanting to ask what are the basics of mixing instruments with synthesizers, right? So I mean it's just like any other thing. इतना नहीं सोचते कि यार synth है तो उसको अलग से करेंगे. As a mix engineer, अगर आपके सेशन में एक बार साउंड आ गई है, start treating it like a musical sound. वो कहाँ से आई थी, कैसे आई थी, किस गिटार पे बजी थी, किस synth पे बजी थी, सब सोचना छोड़ दो. Now your job is, here is an instrumental sound. How do I make this sound better or fit better in my music? Okay. When you start approaching it like that, you will understand that it is much easier and you get a clarity and as to where this synth needs to be in your mix. I am a beginner who has no idea on how things work in a studio. Can't play instrument and yet I want to be a composer. Well, that's a very difficult thing, but the only inspiration is that I am a singer who has composed some songs, which I would like to put them to tune. How much do you think it would require? Man, you will at least need to learn an instrument a little bit. before you get in there. And if you really want to see how a studio works, the best way is to go hire a studio and record one of your songs. So I mean, you can't expect to not know anything and still want to be something, right? So कुछ ना कुछ तो सीखना पड़ेगा आपको. तो आप कम से कम गिटार बजाना सीखिए, अपना खुद का गाना प्ले करिए, परफॉर्म करिए और किसी स्टूडियो में जाके उसे रिकॉर्ड करिए. जब आप एक दो गाना रिकॉर्ड करेंगे स्टूडियो में, आपको बहुत अच्छा आइडिया आएगा कि स्टूडियो काम कैसे करता है, एंड देन यू विल गेट अ बेटर आइडिया what you need to do and where you need to learn. Our Kali Audio LP6 good monitors. Kali Audio are amazing monitors. Can we get the recording of this lecture, please? Yes, you will. Okay, Arman says, bye, I learn music. Really a humble request. I have a Yamaha PSR 240. My God. Manikandan, I'm so sorry, I've lost your... Can we get... yeah, you will get a recording of this, don't worry about it. Jaya Joshi, yes, as I said, if your control panel only has one option, left side पे देखिए, वहाँ पे एक option होगी, create a power plan. Create a new power plan में जाके, create a new power plan which will say high performance. How can I make a Shehnai sound by sampling? Because nowhere am I getting... Indian sounds ढूंढना बहुत मुश्किल है और शहनाई को sample करना भी बहुत मुश्किल है. वो नकली ही लगेगा. अगर आपने कभी फ्लूट की भी साउंड सैम्पल करने की कोशिश करी है तो पता चल जाता है कि ये कीबोर्ड पे प्ले हुई है. देयर आर सम कीबोर्ड्स बाय रोलैंड, आई थिंक. इनफैक्ट आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम, बट एक था कीबोर्ड जिसके अंदर 3-4 आई थिंक वाज रोलैंड अकॉर्ड. एक ही कीबोर्ड बनाया आज तक ऐसा जिसमें इंडियन साउंड थी और वो फिर भी ठीक ठाक थी. बट देन अगेन इट्स नॉट स्टूडियो क्वालिटी. शहनाई एक ऐसा इंस्ट्रूमेंट है जो आपको रिकॉर्ड ही करना पड़ेगा या आप उसके लूप्स ढूंढ सकते हैं. सो यू कैन डाउनलोड अ लाइब्रेरी ऑफ लूप्स ऑफ शहनाई एंड एडिट देम बिकॉज द लूप इज अ रियल रिकॉर्डेड थिंग. कैन वी मिक्स इन HD280 Pro? You can, but I will not recommend it because they are monitoring headphones, not mixing headphones. How much time will it, most welcome Tej, how much time will it take to learn music production to become professional? As I said, I've been at it for 15 years and I'm still learning, but my education lasted about 5.5 years. Yeah. Which DAW is widely used in every studio? What about Studio One? Studio One is a good DAW. Again, it has an industry standard workflow. Right now, Pro Tools is still the industry standard of DAWs. आप किसी भी बड़े स्टूडियो में जाएंगे, Pro Tools ही यूज होता है. But just short of Pro Tools, Ableton Live and Logic are really catching up. तो अगर आप को ये तीन में थोड़ी सी भी knowledge है, you are at an advantage. In fact, if you have to choose a DAW, I will highly suggest that you choose among these three, which is Pro Tools, Logic and Ableton Live. In fact, I would suggest Logic को last option रखना because Logic सिर्फ और सिर्फ Apple पे काम करता है. And the day you decide to move to PC, and there will be multiple reasons why you would want to move to PC. Apple के updates सब कुछ बंद कर देते हैं आपको. Professionally, Apple updates are not your friend. You will realize that Apple जब भी update करता है कुछ ना कुछ काम करना बंद हो जाता है. So why would you want to work with something like that? I've seen so many people who work on Logic जो आज भी Mountain Lion पे जानबूझ के हैं. They're not upgrading to High Sierra or Big Sur because of this very reason. क्योंकि उनके VSTs चलना बंद हो जाते हैं, उनके effects चलना बंद हो जाते हैं, all the tools that they're using or their audio driver doesn't work. So I will still suggest you go with either Ableton Live or Pro Tools because वो Mac पे भी चलता है और वो Windows पे भी चलता है. And if you decide to change, no harm done. No time wasted, just carry on where you left off. It might be a little off topic, but I wanted to know if you have any contacts of voice actors. I am a voice actor. Do let me know. What is the minimum budget for a home music studio? Okay, let's just assume you have the PC. If you have the PC, then including acoustics, about 60 to 70,000. अगर PC नहीं है तो 1 lakh उसका जोड़ दो, 1,60,70,000. I wanted to learn to create background music for my voiceovers. You can do that, but you will need some kind of knowledge in music. If you are a piano player or a guitar player, that would definitely help. Minus acoustic treatment of the room. Well, again, assuming you have a laptop, then 30,000, 35,000, that's good. Why minus acoustic treatment of the room? See, here's the problem, guys. Acoustic treatment को क्यों minus कर रहे हो? That is the most important equipment out of all the equipment. अगर आपका कमरा ही गंदा साउंड कर रहा है, आप महंगा सा माइक लगा के क्या अचीव कर लोगे? आप अच्छे स्पीकर्स लगा के क्या अचीव कर लोगे? कुछ नहीं आएगा. खुद सोचो, अगर आप गंदे रूम में बैठे हुए हो और आपने केआर के रॉकेट के स्पीकर्स लगाए हुए हैं, तो क्या होगा उससे? आप गंदे रूम में हो ना, वो स्पीकर्स कितने भी अच्छे हो, साउंड तो उनकी गंदी हो जाएगी. So acoustic treatment is very important. Don't minus acoustic treatment from it. What is the difference between the low cost of condenser mic and high cost mic? Well, low cost mics will give you distortion very easily. They will have, an irregular curve in their frequency response, in the frequency, capture curve. कईयों में bass ज़्यादा होता है, कईयों में treble ज़्यादा होता है. They will not be flat, or they will not have a good amplification to the sound. मतलब जब आप उनको preamp में डालेंगे, तो हो सकता है कि highs बहुत ज़्यादा shh करे या lows बहुत ज़्यादा boomy हो जाए जैसे ऐसे. So that's the difference. In Korg instruments are good, yes. They are one of the top top companies in the keyboard manufacturer range. What are some budget mixing headphones? Okay, so mixing headphones ke liye HD 599 Sennheiser. They're really good. Or Bear Dynamic. As you said, get loops. Can we get loops in Ableton? It doesn't matter which DAW you're using. Loops to kahin bhi chalenge. They're audio files at the end of the day. So you can drag them in Ableton, you can drag them in Logic. It doesn't matter. Can you please provide your WhatsApp number? No, I cannot. So sorry about that. Sir, mid-side EQ ka kya use bata? Okay, that's a very intermediate advanced question. Mid-side EQ. All right. So when you're listening to music, you have things in the center. Then you have things in the left speaker, and then you have things on the right speaker. तो जो लेफ्ट राइट का जो सिग्नल होता है उन्हें साइड्स कहते हैं. जो मिड का होता है सिग्नल उसे मिड्स कहते हैं. सिंपल एज दैट. नाउ जनरली स्पीकिंग जब आप मिक्स करते हैं तो जो लो एंड होता है, जो बेस एंड होता है, उसे हम बीच में रखते हैं और जैसे जैसे फ्रीक्वेंसीज हाई होती रहती हैं उनको हम ज़्यादा पैन करते हैं. सो से फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव अ कीबोर्ड पैच जिसके अंदर लो एनर्जी भी है और हाई एनर्जी भी है. आप चाहते हैं कि लो एनर्जी सेंटर में ही रहे, तो मिड साइड EQ में आप मिड वाले सेक्शन में सारा लो एनर्जी रखेंगे और साइड्स वाले सेक्शन में लोज काट के सिर्फ हाईज रख सकते हैं. I said minus because you already told the expense of the acoustic treatment. All right. But no, I do believe it's a point that needs reiterating again and again, because there are a lot of people who still, I know acoustics is not flashy. It's not exciting. It's not as exciting as, new equipment, because with all the lights flashing and whatnot, but it is as important. When I try to connect my mono condenser mic to my Mackie interface, it is not working. Okay, it's a condenser mic. You have to switch on 48 volts, phantom power. आप जब तक वो ऑन नहीं करेंगे, जैसे आपने चैनल 1 पे लगाया तो चैनल 1 का 48 वोल्ट ऑन करिए. वो अगर ऑन नहीं करेंगे तब तक सिग्नल नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज कंडेंसर माइक्स रिक्वायर पावर टू रन. एंड जब तक 48 वोल्ट ऑन है तब तक तार को खींचे मत और कनेक्ट मत करिए. पहले कनेक्ट कर लीजिए, 48 वोल्ट ऑन कर लीजिए एंड देन स्टार्ट वर्किंग. एंड इफ यू वांट टू डिस्कनेक्ट इट, फर्स्ट स्विच ऑफ 48 वोल्ट एंड देन अनप्लग. May I unmute myself and how can I get your contact? I find myself having different voices of my own. Since you said do, let me know. Okay, you can contact my studio. It's called Ferris Wheel Studios. And you can contact me on WhatsApp or you can send me a mail over there. Right? It's Ferris Wheel Studio. www.ferriswheelstudios.com. I'll write it down.
Yes, sir. Read it.
Please note, I will only take up business queries here. Everything else will be ignored. Okay, where are we? There we go.
Sir, have
I
you
want to
sent
learn.
a message?
Sorry?
Sir, have you sent a message of the website? I mean, the message section or chat section?
I'm so sorry. I mistakenly sent it to just one person. Really sorry. Let me just.
No worries, sir.
There you go.
Thank you to you, sir.
Most welcome. Okay. Okay, you switched on 48 volts and it's still not working. Are you sure your cable is in good order? Because sometimes if the cable का जो earth pin है अगर वो खराब है तो 48 volt जाता नहीं है. Also gain, I hope you're raising your gain and checking. Mid side EQ थोड़ा demonstrate करके दिखाइए. Okay, let's go then. All right, so I'll put it on my own voice. Let's do that. उसके लिए पहले मुझे अपनी वॉइस को स्टेरियो बनाना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो आई एम गोना फाइंड अ प्लगइन दैट मेक्स माय वॉइस स्टेरियो. इससे थोड़ी सी लैग और लेटेंसी आ सकती है, सो प्लीज एक्सक्यूज दैट. गिव इट अ सेकंड, लोडिंग. There you go. Now I'll make my voice stereo and my voice is now stereo in your headphones. If you want to see what this is doing, please put on your headphones. Okay? अब हम ऑडियो इफेक्ट्स पे आएंगे. ऑडियो इफेक्ट्स पे आके EQ8 पे आएंगे. यहाँ पे मोड में I will choose MS. Right now I'm on M, so I'm controlling the mids. That is the middles, not the mid frequencies. Middles में मैंने highs घटा दिए and sides में से let's remove the lows. And sides में we will also increase my highs. So this is my voice without MS EQ and this is my voice with MS EQ. I hope you can hear the difference and you understand what's happening here.
Sir, I think Zoom is able to only take mono sound, so whatever you were doing in stereo was not.
I'm so sorry. No, but I think stereo sound hota hai because in my classes when I demonstrate stereo effects, they do hear stereo.
So as of now, we can't hear that.
So we do hear a difference, like there's a difference. The one before one was the clearer one and this has a little bass sound behind the primary sound.
Actually, this is giving only the middle sound, the center.
Okay, I will just switch off. Now this is my voice without the MS and stereo spreading, and this is my voice with the effects on. Can you hear the difference now?
It totally removed the treble.
It totally removed the treble. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how about now? Can you hear it now?
No, sir, it's same. It's same.
I'm so sorry. I think it's Zoom messing with the audio. But yeah, I mean, in general, what you can do is if you really want to try MS, try जैसे किसी synth का कोई patch लेके which has a lot of high energy and low energy, or take distortion guitar. That's actually a very good idea. Take distortion guitar or distorted guitar and apply MS EQ to that and see what it's doing. Sides पे जाके highs बढ़ा दो and mids में जाके highs घटा दो. And you will see the brightness increasing on the sides and the bass increasing in the center, right? So that's why MS EQ is used.
Sir?
Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to have a query wherein what are the prerequisites that I must ensure for the mail that I would be sending you regarding my voiceovers?
You send me a creative brief regarding what you need, your requirement, and I will get back to you.
Okay, sure. Like, because I just explained myself, my voice, and I have different gigs. So just wanted to know, like, how can I proceed? Yeah.
No, just put in an inquiry like you would with any other business and tell me what you require and we can take it from there. Okay?
Like, do you offer any courses regarding that wherein I can have a detailed learning on how
Right here.
voiceovers are?
No, I don't teach voiceovers. I don't teach voice acting. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Or is
Okay.
there any good course
Or
that you suggest for?
for voiceover, I was taught by a director, theater director from the British, uh, the, the British Embassy. So you can either learn there or
Oh.
try joining a theater school, man.
Yeah, actually, I stay in Thane, Maharashtra, and I was just searching for a best one where I can have a detailed learning on how this voiceovers acting works.
Theater school is the best way to learn because I learned voice acting from theater schools only. But I'm so sorry, I will have to address everyone on the chat now, and I would request to put any further questions on the chat, please.
Sure, sir. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, our Sennheiser HD599 only good for mixing? No, you can make music on them as well. I use them for music production. If there will be any questions regarding production, can we ask through FrontRow? Yes, you can. Absolutely. What do you think of selling beat creation business? How to stand out from the competition? As I'm brand strategist, so this question just popped up. Okay. See, in my experience, at least, when I'm selling beats, I'm able to sell beats only to people who do not know music production. For example, rappers who can only rap or singers who can only sing. And mostly these are people from an older generation because their lives are too busy to start learning something new, or probably for whatever other reason they're not able to learn music production. So that is basically the market, first of all. Second of all, you really can't, I mean, this is art. This is not a product like a car or something, where there are certain rules to marketing it or certain things that you need to break out of. The whole point of art is to make new trends. So, I mean, this is, as I said, to make art is a creative thing. To sell art or to market art is an even more creative thing. How do you sell something that's already creative? You've got to be immensely creative with that, right? So it's something that really depends from project to project. So say, for example, if the work of art that I'm trying to market is more to do with aggression or more to do with a certain emotion, I would like to club it with something that's ongoing and something that is causing a lot of aggression in people right now. Now, how do I club that with that, using influencers or not, or using a product? It really is, open to almost all kinds of solutions. But yeah, I mean, trying to market a creative thing requires even more creativity. You can't hear? Check, check. Okay, you can hear. All right. Shall we use EQ and compressor in every instrument? No. EQ, yes, almost every instrument, or if not EQ, at least a filter, because almost every sound recorded will have some kind of low energy. Like, you need to remove all that, right? So filter or EQ to almost सब में लगता ही है. Compressor, no. Let me give you an example. Distorted guitars don't get compressors. Distortion is a kind of compression. So अगर आप distorted guitar record करेंगे तो वो एक ऐसे black tape बन के आएगा. Already compressed signal को और क्यों compress करेंगे आप? How to learn songwriting? Are there any good colleges who offer that? Let me give you a source. There is my teacher from Berkeley. Her name is Andrea Stolpe. She gives out these amazing lectures for free on YouTube. So please go check it out. She will change your life. I'll write her name down. Andrea Stolpe. Okay. Well, that's the last of the questions. I will take one last question before we call this a night. The next session will be next Tuesday, same time. We shall see you again.
There might be
next
some
Tuesday.
timing changes.
Okay, yeah. Ishan, I'm so sorry. I forgot myself. Yeah, there will be timing changes. It'll either be weekends or it'll either be later in the day or earlier in the day. I will discuss with Ishan and I will get back to you regarding that.
Yeah, we'll notify you on
Is
the
Berkeley
front,
online
don't
course
worry.
any good? Thank you so much for reminding me, Ishan. Berkeley online course is an amazing course. I have done a few courses from there. They are really, really good. But then again, if you are going to Berkeley, you can't go there as a complete beginner. Their courses are, even their beginner course is not exactly a beginner, if you know what I mean. Berkeley will expect you to be a musician no matter which course you're taking. So if you are a musician, it'll be great for you. If you're not a musician, you're going to end up almost wasting that money. So be careful with that. You can always take a free demo class. That's the great part about Berkeley. All right, so that was the last question. Thank you so much, guys. This was a good session. I hope I answered everyone. If I didn't, I'm very sorry. Please join us for the next session and I will address your questions. And please don't take my whatever I say about FL Studio to heart or too seriously. It is only from my own experience. If you must know, I am also an FL Studio user, or was, back when we still had FL Studio 5. I'm talking about 2001 and 2 or 3 probably. So yeah, it definitely is coming from a place of experience, and I have only discovered that my work has gotten even more effective when I came to Ableton Live. I have used FL Studio, I have used Logic, I have used Pro Tools. I have been trained on Pro Tools and Logic. I was not trained on Ableton Live, but I still prefer Ableton Live. I have been trained on Nuendo because in my course, sound for film is a necessary thing. I mean, it's a necessary module. It's not elective. So I've used all of these. And after using all of these, I'm telling you, at least from my own informed, I'm telling you my informed decision that Ableton Live is right now the most effective DAW out there. What is the fees of Berkeley? If you're going there, about 50, 60 lakhs. If you're staying here and doing the entire thing, it depends on the kind of certificate or master's or degree you're doing. It ranges from about 2 lakhs all the way up to, I think, 20 lakhs or something. I tried using Ableton, 3 months free trial, found it hard to learn. All right, before I go, I'll give you one last tidbit. Any one of you who have downloaded Ableton and are finding it difficult to learn, do this, please. Go to help and go to help view. And over here, you see these things, a tour of live, recording audio, creating beats, playing software instruments. These are built-in tutorials, okay? Just click on them and Ableton will open up a built-in session that is a built-in tutorial, and it will take you through each step, step by step. So just keep this thing open. I'll tell you where it comes from, help view, and then take these tutorials. In fact, the first time when I tried Ableton, I tried these tutorials, and this is how I quickly got my hand on Ableton. Obviously, I had been using DAWs before this, so for me, it was much easier. But I am quite confident that if you try this, you will also find Ableton Live quite easy and simple to use. It's actually not that difficult. It just looks intimidating. It looks like a very serious guy, but trust me, it's fun as hell. All right. Take care, guys. Have a great night and a great week ahead. Ta-ta.
Thank you so much, Mukul. Thank you everyone for joining us. That was it. Thank you. See you guys. Good night.